And what sometimes we lose and we forget about is the people that work for us are entrepreneurs. And why is that? Because they own their jobs. And the real key is to unlocking the entrepreneur within them that they may not even see and leading them. So I have a slide on the back, but I really want you to take a look at the words within those slides. Think of all of the things. An entrepreneur means a million things. But at the end of the day, being an entrepreneur comes down to a couple of really simple things. Number one, it's accepting that you are in an ultra marathon. Okay? It is not the 100-yard dash. That's not an entrepreneur. It is about being a psychologist. Every person that comes into your office, customer, vendor, team member, or partner, has an agenda. But here's the problem. You only know 80% of the agenda. Because underneath it, there's something else that's absolutely, and it's not that we want to be passive-aggressive, but the truth is, we all bring our baggage into every meeting, and it clouds, and it changes our focus and our behaviors. And you as the leaders, not are you only an entrepreneur, but you are a leader. And as a leader, you have to sort through all of that. And you are a juggler. In a hospital, they use the expression triage, right? If the heart's not beating, bleeding's not your problem, right? So you have to pick what is the most important thing, okay? If you are going to file for bankruptcy tomorrow, right? The next product that you're going to announce in 2017 should not be taking up most of your time. And that's really what entrepreneurship is. So for the rest of today, and I apologize in advance, I am very repetitive. I am going to share with you things you already know, and I'm going to repeat myself. So we're going to start off with business generalities. And my favorite business generalities is I'm going to give you 7 C words, and no, it's not the one that you guys know I'm not allowed to say. But I am going to give you 7 C words that if you focus on these words and you think of your governance and how it impacts your processes, it will make so much difference in what you do. So our first C word is cash. Cash is the lifeblood of all businesses. You can never, ever lose sight of cash. It's the difference between living and dead. Think of a naval aviator who's in a dogfight. He's got 2,000 bullets, he's got 4 AMRAAMs. Every minute when he's flying and he's in a dogfight, he takes a look at how much ammunition he has. Because that moment that he no longer has ammunition, it is time to turn around. Because there's nothing else he can do. Okay? Cash is your ammunition. And it's really tough because you can only spend $1 once. So every dollar you spend, you have to think of its impact and its yield. Because if every dollar's not creating $1.10, you're heading in the wrong direction. And some dollars, when things go really well, create dollars and tens of dollars. So it's picking and choosing where you apply your cash is the first of your governance processes. A close second is customers. And I'm going to give you a very interesting way to perceive customers. Customers are cash waiting to happen. Right? They are 30, 60, or 90 days away from being cash, depending on your collection cycle. But now I'm going to broaden the concept of customer for you. There's 3 types of customers. There's external customers. Those are the people you actually sell your goods and services to. Right? They're the customer that you think about when I say the word customer. But there's also internal customers. They're the people inside your organization. If your governance and your processes can create that level of respect, as we all know, it's a lie when they say the customer's always right. But it is the truth when they say the customer always has to be treated as if they're right. Same thing in your organization. Your salespeople are a customer of your management style, of your philosophy of how you're doing business, of your marketing department who's giving you the intelligence in the marketplace. They're a customer for all that knowledge. Your accounts receivable people are a customer of your salespeople because they have nothing to collect if somebody doesn't sell. Your operations people are a customer of your salespeople because they have nothing to ship if somebody doesn't sell. So your whole organization is a series of customer transactions, either outside the company or inside the company. So as you start thinking about your governance and your processes, what is it that you respect about a customer relationship, and what is the important flow of information? So I said those are the two parts. There's a third part, and people lose track of this. Your vendors are a customer. Your vendors are a customer of the information that you give them so they can serve you better. So the customer is actually an ecosystem. And it's how you balance that ecosystem and invest in that ecosystem that makes your business great. Culture, coworkers. People inside your organization that you work with every day and how you behave outside. Culture is a very interesting word because the first 4 letters of culture is spelled cult. What is the cult that you want your company to be? I'm going to give you a great example. Apple. And we're going to lean on Apple a lot because everybody knows who they are and they can perceive them. Apple is seen as an innovative company. An innovative company. That is their cult. Google is an innovative company. That is their cult. That's what people want to see. Marriott has a cult. Marriott is possibly one of the best training organizations if you want to be in the hospitality industry. And that's their cult. They rely so heavily on training. What is the culture inside your organization? What are the processes to make it even better to achieve your goals? Change. The only constant is change and the laws of physics that we talked about earlier. If you do not embrace change, you waste cash to fight it. Okay? That's just the reality of the situation. Clock. The most perishable asset you have is time. If you can do it today, do it today. It's that simple. I'm going to use a different example to explain clock, and that's the airline industry. Right now, it is 10 a.m. The 3 o'clock plane to New York today has an empty seat on it. That seat is worth approximately $1,000 for a last-minute ticket if you want to go to New York. The second that door closes at 1:59, the value of that seat went from $1,000 of incoming cash to about $225 of fuel that's going to be burned to fly the empty seat to New York. Clock. If you can make 100 things today, you say, we'll make 80 today and we'll make 200 tomorrow. Why didn't you make 200 today? It's a perishable asset. Cooperation. Again, it's part of culture, but how do you want to behave in the ecosystem that you live in? Because if people don't like you, they won't do business with you a second time. How do you cooperate with them? And I saved possibly the most important word for last, communication. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Now most people think that communication is, I'm talking to you, I am communicating. No. Communication is only half of what I say, it's also half, what do you understand? No entiendo means no communication. It's a two-way street. And whether you believe in God or not, whoever created us was really smart. One mouth, 2 ears. Right? If you use them proportionately, you have a better chance of learning. There was a great man in the 1900s, Will Rogers, who was kind of a philosopher, he once said, never miss the opportunity to shut the F up. It makes listening that much easier. Okay? And then, of course, there's a whole thing, if you say nothing, they may think you're a fool, but if you say something, you may confirm it. Okay? So communication is so critical, and if you manage and you embrace the 7 C's, that is the beginning of great governance, and it is the beginning of building a really, really strong business. So now that you have the 7 C's, let's talk about some common ground. So we have people in the engineering business, we have people in the food business, we have people in the consulting business, we have people that say they're all in different businesses. And I'm going to make an argument to you, you are all in the same business. Business exists for one reason and one reason only. Gain and retain customers profitably in order to create shareholder value. It's easy to retain customers not profitably. Okay? One of the hardest things in the world to do is fire a customer, and it is often one of the smartest things to do. At PictureTel, one of our larger customers was a major oil company, and they beat us up on price constantly, so badly, that I was talking to their chief technology officer, who was talking about our next generation product, and he was telling me how much he was going to pay for it. And I said, I have an awesome idea. Can I just write you a check for $1,000 every time you want to buy something, because I will lose less money that way. I fired him as a customer because it freed up my cash to do other really awesome and great things. It is okay to fire a customer because your job is to gain and retain customers profitably in order to create shareholder value. You need to move forward every single day. Have you ever been on a train and your train's going at 30 miles an hour and another train passes you on the next track at 40 miles an hour? You look out the window and you think you're moving backwards. It's called apparent motion. That's the real world. Mark Cuban said it. Every one of your competitors has a mission that's unstated, which is, I'm going to eat your lunch. If that is not part of your corporate culture, your corporate DNA, we are going to win. Doesn't mean we're going to win at all costs. We're going to win by doing things the right way, because it's not about winning once. It's about winning every single day. The only way you do that is by constantly moving forward. So the lessons that I'm going to share to you today, doesn't matter if you're in the food business or the engineering business or the sign business. It's all about doing business the right way to make your customers happy, to make money, and to create value for your shareholders. And as I said, when you're dealing with people, there's always multiple agendas. Just the acknowledge of that and the understanding of that, number one, will give you some relief. You're not crazy. Right? Because how many times, I could have sworn I just said this, but they heard that. And then you say, well, did I miscommunicate? Well, maybe there was something else on their mind. And understanding that will give you a level of sanity, but it also gives you incredible leverage, because when you can figure out that point of what's really getting to them, you can then communicate on such a higher level and actually achieve whatever it is, the mission that you want. There are 5